worth having a look at. And let's see what the slide shows this week as horses off the Gavel House site that are worth having a look at. So let's go and see that. Now, this filly is very interesting, Slinky Malinky, this mare. She is the dam of this horse, Swift and Strong, that we picked out as a horse to follow. He's by Silvano, and this was a good mare.
Very good mare.
It looks well priced at 180,000.
It looks very, very good, especially if the Aussies are lurking a look at this. You know, they'll get it at, obviously with their currency so strong, strongest dollar in the world at the moment. But I agree, that's a very good deal, and she's still producing. That's the first one. Who's the other one?
Well, the next one I know quite well. So my horse, he actually won his start before last because he came out and ran fourth last time out. And that was in a graduation plate. He's quite a nice horse, this, and he'd probably certainly suit the Mauritians. I think that he's a horse that will go on. One is maiden by 4.5 lengths.
Yeah, and that's excellent. So every winning ways will have two Gavel horse potentials.
Gavel House horses.
I mean, yeah, let's get it right, Gavel House.
If you'd like to put any horses on Gavel House, you just go to gavelhouse.com, or you speak to Janine
Nordman.
Yeah, her details are there on the Gavel House website. But it's an interesting site because you can find horses all over the world.
That's right. It's a very good site.
Okay, we're going to move on, and as I said, we're going to be looking at the tape from Newmarket. We've got a little 5-minute DVD, and then we'll be chatting to the big shots, William and Nick from Newmarket.
Yeah, I'm keen to get out there and check out the BMW Magic Millions Carnival this season. I'm just really looking forward to seeing what Gold Coast Racing has to offer.
I was born and raised in Queensland, so it's always been a reminder for me as like the beginning of the new year and summer, having a nice day out with the family or friends.
Well, being a Gold Coast boy, always going to have a soft spot for my hometown. But I just think it has so much to offer everyone, you know. It's just perfect weather, great beaches, great accommodation, beautiful restaurants and a fun nightlife. I just think it's a must-see destination.
Newmarket Heath, 2,500 acres of meticulously tended training grounds, nearly 90 miles of the finest grass and all-weather gallops. For 350 years and more, this is where the racehorse has plied his birthright, galloping to the utmost. Study a champion and you'll see how this extraordinary landscape has over centuries moulded and formed the physique of the thoroughbred, honed and refined it. Those long forbidding straights, that long relentless stride, those sweeping undulations, that unstinting balance, those tricky rises and falls, that sharply adaptable power, those windswept, daunting horizons, that strength of will to lead the herd, and the lungs and heart to get there. The essence of Newmarket is the essence of the thoroughbred. History, topography, husbandry, and physiognomy combine in this place and in this breed. Newmarket. It's not just where the thoroughbred is, it's why the thoroughbred is what it is. The great stallion Hyperion, loftily assessing the comings and goings on Newmarket High Street. Diamond Jubilee, winner of the Triple Crown in the Royal Silks. He's never left the place. The unbeatable Eclipse and the plucky Gimcrack. They were all Newmarket through and through. It was because they were great here that they were great at all. Take Frankel. Who knows, perhaps the greatest ever horse to look through a bridle. Formed and forged in Newmarket. This is what he sees each and every morning. 10 generations on from his mighty forefather Ben Dawe. 20 generations after Eclipse. They saw it, and your horses will too, if they're trained in Newmarket. They will enjoy the same privileges as Frankel. They look on the same views, take the same paths, tread the same turf. Frankel, Diamond Jubilee, Eclipse. They all dug deep up the same heartlessly demanding climb to the winning post. The champion opportunity. Your racehorse, inspired by Newmarket. If you're an owner, if you're a trainer, most of all, if you are a horse, this is the place to be. Newmarket is specially designed for thoroughbreds to best fulfill their potential, to be as fast as they can be, as successful as they can be, as memorable as they can be. There is a team of passionate experts who know this land well and think about it hard. They use age-old husbandry with far-sighted innovation to get the very best from it. Wide uphill poly tracks and oval all-weather stretches, the Cambridge Road and the Alba Hathry, and Newmarket's stunning menu of the most famous grass gallops of them all. The Lime Kilns, the Golden Mile, the Round Gallop, the Pete Moss Gallops, the Summer Gallop. National hunt facilities at the Links. For 10 long winters or more, there has been an all-weather gallop available for use, whatever the weather. All the other trades the sport requires are here too. You won't find finer. Europe's leading auction house Tattersalls, world-leading equine vets, in fact everything the horse and trainer require, which if you want to excel in sport, is the way it has to be. The first two classics, Europe's greatest juvenile races and richest sprint. Some of the biggest handicaps and the most informative maiden races, they are run on Newmarket's racecourses. And for the visiting owner, there's also the Jockey Club Rooms, a sumptuous sanctuary full of racing history. Trophies and paintings, sculptures and record books. No better place to rest, reward and invigorate. What's more, as part of the Jockey Club Estates reinvests all profits back into racing. Stay here and you are giving as you take. The walls, the furnishings, the company you'll keep. It's a place that asserts that if you're in the racing game and have found your way to Newmarket, you have truly arrived. This, after all, is where it has all happened. And every morning, it's all happening again. To find out more, please visit www.jockeyclubestates.co.uk or contact 01638 664 151.
Well, there you go. And if you want to go to the home of horse racing, that's where you head. And as you can see from that DVD, that is the home of horse racing. But we're lucky enough in South Africa to have had two guys who run the gallops and look after those beautiful places that these horses end up galloping on. And thanks for the DVD, guys. I'm going to start with you, Nick Patton. Give us a little bit of your background and how you're involved in the gallops.
Yeah, well, I've now worked for Jockey Club Estates for the last sort of 2.5 years. And previously, before that, I worked at 2 Jockey Club race courses in Great Britain, Nottingham and Market Raisins, so one jump course and one flat course. Previously, before that, I was assistant trainer to Andrew and Ian Baldwin down in Kingsclere during a fantastic period of time when we won the Oaks. And we had Phoenix Reach, who was a fantastic globe trotter around the world. So I've been at Jockey Club Estates now for 2.5 years. I took over from John Taylor, who was a sort of legendary, had been there for 40 years. So I had big shoes to fill. And yeah, I had to learn pretty quick, pretty fast, because it's not a place you can sit back and look what happens. You've got to keep, it's always changing, constantly changing. You've got to constantly keep refurbishing things and keep the facilities in top class condition. That's the key. These facilities got to be absolutely spot on every single day, 365 days a year, because you've got the likes of, these top-class horses, Frankel, Snow Fairy, Nathaniel, Workforce, using them every single day, so there's no time to sort of sit back and rest.
William Gittis, you are the CEO of Jockey Club
Managing Director, yeah.
Managing
Yes.
Director,
Yep.
yeah. And do you get out on the gallops?
Yes, not as much as I used to. We also have, obviously, Mandown Gallops down in Lambourne, which we bought in 2006. And they've taken a lot of time and work over the last 6 years now. And then there's various other aspects to the business as well. But I don't get out as much as I'd like to, other than I try and ride out for a national hunt trainer a couple of times a week.
Yeah, apparently the Newmarket Town Plate is on the radar as one of your aims, one of your bucket lists.
I did it last year. I actually learned to ride in it last year. Unfortunately, it was this Saturday gone while we were here, so I couldn't do it this year. But an owner has kindly said he'd find me a horse for it next year. And it's just a great way of getting out and seeing the gallops from a very different perspective than from on foot, and spending more time with the lads, which is where we get a lot of our feedback from as to the surfaces, the grass, any little ideas on how we can change a horse trap to improve safety. As Nick has said, it's been there for hundreds of years, but we are constantly trying to change and improve it.
Well, when I worked in Newmarket, which was a considerable time ago, there were no tracks except one wood chip. They'd just put in a wood chip, I think in the early 70s was the start. Since then, a whole lot of new type of surfaces have been put in.
Yes, I mean, we've tried all types, from the early Equitrax. I mean, we also had wood chip and sands, and then the early Equitrax. And then really for the last sort of 15 years, since sort of the Albahatri was put in, where you saw some Mark Prescott's horses on the video there, we have gone with synthetic waxed surfaces. And I mean, Newmarket would be a very different place without them. What they've allowed us to do is to massively expand the horse population from about 800 horses 30 years ago to over 2,500 day in, day out now. But at the same time, because of the number of tracks we've got, actually to improve the quality of the grass. As the trainers have got to understand and now almost depend on good, well-maintained artificial tracks, and that's the key to it. They will only use the grass when it's at its best to use, and also if it is wet and use is likely to damage it, it gives us the ability to close that grass because they've got an equivalent quality surface on which to train their horses.
Okay, the leading question we in South Africa need to know, we put in a sand track at the Vaal, which has been successful in some places. We're now looking at putting in synthetic surface. Here in KwaZulu-Natal, you guys have looked at them all. They're talking about which would be the best surface for us to put in.
I mean, difficult, yeah.
That's why you're here.
Yeah. It is, and I mean, I think before we sort of go firm on things like that, we've been invited here by Gold Circle, and it's sort of out of respect really to report to them first. But anybody who comes to Newmarket would see that we have favoured Martin Collins Polytrack type surfaces. Again, people need to understand that no two surfaces are the same. We have found, for our purposes, for training purposes, they have given us the durability that we need. We do have a Polytrack surface on our Jockey Club racecourses, all weather or synthetic Kempton, and that's been is well received and well used, as of Linkville Park. So those surfaces have had good racing use as well. There are other surfaces, as we have to say on the BBC. But
I'm actually going to ask Nick about surfaces. Polytrack is what we're talking about now. What is the difference between Polytrack, fibre sand, Pro Ride, and a sand track?
Well, a sand track is basically sand track. And then going one up from a sand track, it would be a fibre sand. So Southall in the UK is fibre sand. And we did have a couple of fibre sand surfaces at Jockey Club Estates in Newmarket, and we still got one down at Lambourne as well. And basically it's a sand track but full of fibres, so the kickback wouldn't be so great. So when horses work on it, it's not as deep, it's quite sort of stable, but it still rides as a sort of a dead surface, which means when you put your foot on it, there's no return, there's no spring in it. So the amazing thing I found here on your turf tracks is a lovely cushion of grass, lovely spring. That turf just pushes your hand and bounces back up again. Absolutely gorgeous. But you wouldn't have that with a fibre sand surface. Going up from there, from fibre sand, obviously you go into your wax coated surfaces, and there's all sorts. You've mentioned Pro